Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, here's the thing about this episode. You have a lot of people in this episode, and you had nearly nothing that actually happened in this episode at the same time. It's amazing. This episode is primarily focused on deception and a launch party. Oh, and at some point, Sasha decides to, take some pills because they want her to speak and feeling all the pressure and everything else. So she decides to, take some pills and stuff like that. Um, what else? Mrs. Wu is there. And once again, she sits there and hits up Curtis like, hey, I want to sit there and use that back room. And Curtis is like, yeah, I thought about it and, no. But, Miss Wu is not taking no for an answer. I'm gonna just be honest. She looked fire in that dress. Oh my goodness. I know I've been all gaga about Mrs. Wu lately, but she damn sure know how to wear a dress. But with that being said, she came in with this intimidating energy. And, there's a point where Curtis is talking to Brook Lynn and Lucy and I think Felicia, or was it Nina? Anyway, Brooklyn's like, what is she doing there? And she walks over and she's like, yeah, I'm an investor. So, of course, the tune changes and Lucy's like, oh, well, so happy that you're here and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah, okay. Um, Hell, she even, talks to Nina at one point. And she's like, yeah, I know all about fashion and stuff like that. You know, how you dress and this, that, and the third. I'm a fan of Crimson. And, she just, once again, she gives that one last glaring look at Curtis like, all right, well, feel like I'm going to get it at some point. And if you need anything else, I got you. And I don't know if that was I don't know if that was a sex look or that was a I got you on some money. But either way, she walked off, and Curtis right then and there he realized that she is going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem. The last person that was like mob boss related that like came in with that type, well, not the same type of energy, but that hyped me up a little bit was Faith Roscoe. I was talking to a new subscriber. No, well, I was talking to a new subscriber, but I was talking to somebody else, and they were wondering like, why I'm such a fan of her, why I'm such a fan of Miss Wu. Um, and it's more just a simple fact that she definitely kind of livened things up, and she just brings a certain energy to the show that is, one I'm definitely missing. Um, and like I said, I haven't really felt that way since Faith Roscoe. Like I'm talking old school. I'm talking like before 2010. Oh, I think around 2010. That's when she was around. And by the way, now I was thinking about this at work. I was like, what happened to her exactly? Did she get killed off? How did she get killed off? I felt like I gotta look through Wikipedia to find out because as I was sitting there answering questions, going through comments and stuff like that, I was like, what happened to Faith Roscoe? Um, what else we got? Oh, Felicia and Anna was there. I don't know. I just, in some ways, I kind of felt like they weren't really necessary. Well, Felicia was probably necessary because she's Maxie's mother, and Anna's part of the family, so fine. But I was kind of like, y'all could have not been there, and it would have been exactly the same thing. Um, So Austin gets there, and he starts kissing on Maxie, and Brook Lynn walks off with his little temper tantrum attitude, being all immature about it. And Maxie was all like, "Oh well, she's probably hurting," and I'm like, I'm sorry, was is he supposed to have like a look of sympathy or a look of sadness on his face? And she actually tells Austin, she's like, well, why don't you sit there and try to, make out with her? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Now, this is the point where Austin is a better person than I am. Because I would have been like, yeah, that's not going to happen. You can kick rocks. Goodbye. Um, One, pride. Two, pettiness. And three, I just don't really like. Well, besides the fact I don't really like Brooklyn that way. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to sit there and be trying to practically make up with her after she walked off simply. Anyway, let me just kind of take myself out the equation because. So, Austin goes over there and he tries to make nice, and they both kind of agree to just, do a ceasefire because, every time they go to war, the bystanders, Leo and Maxie and everyone else kind of, gets caught in the crossfire. So they agree to disagree, and Brooklyn comes over there and it's like, oh, does he make you happy? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, Brooklyn. Yeah, apparently she needs your approval or something, so that's awesome. Um, Ain't no way in hell. Anyway, she's like fine or whatever. She drops it, and so Austin can date Maxie because they're not going to be at each other's throats, or they're going to kind of simmer it down a little bit. It was like the one part that pissed me off. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Um, so Esme finds out that she's not pregnant, and at first I was like, man, now you won't be able to really leverage this or anything like that. But then I was like, you're getting exactly what you want. You have a quote unquote threat level that's so big and bad that you have to stay at Windermere to continue your plan to break up Ava and Nicholas. I was like, I kept sitting there thinking, I was like, Sonny, you did a great job at helping her with her plan. I mean, you didn't know it at the time, but you definitely helped her with her plan. So awesome. Great job of you jumping in. Um, So yeah, she tells him that she's not pregnant, and Spencer's like, "It's fine, you can stay." And Spencer decides to go to the gym to talk to Sonny, like, "Yo, listen, you're kidnapping Esme, you're threatening her, you're scaring her, and this gotta stop." And this is when Sonny's like, "Listen, you are literally betting the wrong horse. You should be loyal to the people that have always had your back." And when he said that, I was like, Sonny, that was probably the smartest thing that you said all year so far. So that's actually good. Because he's been saying and doing a lot of dumbness. And that's my guy. If you haven't been watching this channel for a while, Sonny's my guy. But he's been well, you know, he's been making some really terrible choices himself. Um, And he does sit there and tell, Spencer, listen, don't make the mistakes that I made. I made some really terrible choices, and I want you to sit there and follow my footsteps. I don't know exactly what he's going to do with that, but Laura finds out that she might be pregnant from Scotty and Ava, and she rushes right over to Windermere, and she finds out that you know, she's not pregnant, and of course, even Nicholas was like, "Well, I think for right now it's kind of the best thing that could have happened." Um, and of course, she gets there to put in her 2 cents, like, "Hey, my son is letting you stay out of loyalty." And at first, she was talking to Nicholas, like, "Why are you so overprotective of her? Like, Sonny's not gonna sit there and do anything that dangerous. Like, he's not a threat level. Like, she's known him for years." Um, of course, kidnapping her. I don't know how she feels about that, but apparently she can turn blind eyes sometimes. Anyway, and also, Laura tells Nicholas that you know Ava's there with Scotty, And of course, when Ava got there, Ava told Scott, like, yo, listen, how much can I get if I divorce him right now? And Scott looked at her like, all right, you might want to, like, I get it. You got into an argument, but, like, for better or worse, y'all two seem to love each other, which is beyond anyone's reasoning, but y'all do. So why don't you just work that out? Um, and he does sit there and tell her to, listen, since Esme wants to sit there and be trying to stake claims, you should do the same thing. And she gets right back in there, and towards the end of the episode, she's there. Um, I was not there thinking yesterday, on top of the many reasons that Amy annoys me, is her voice. Now, I don't give Amy credit often, but what I will sit there and say is that she can sing. Okay, I don't know if that's really her singing, that's a dub, whatever, but the character can really sing. At the same time, you ever heard what somebody sounds like when they actually, had a bit of helium? That's what she sounds like when she gets all super hyper. So that's another thing that just annoyed me. And I thought about that yesterday, like, that chick was really annoying me yesterday. Even her voice was annoying me, but why is that? It didn't hit me. So Liz wakes up and of course she sees a note. I don't know if the note was covered in paint or blood. I think it was like paint or something. But Jake saw it. They want to call in Dante. And, Dante after all was like, listen, maybe you should sit there now to change the locks or just like find another place to stay. Because at this point, when she told Dante, what the dream was, she was like, maybe it was somebody standing over me, so that they're saying, don't forget me. Now, of course, Aiden sits there and thinks it's a ghost. Um, Jake is trying to do what he can to sit there and fill in for Cameron as far as, being a man of the house and everything. Um, and at first, Finn is like, listen, you can sit there and stay with me and Violet. And, Liz is like, no, that place is way too small. Like, we're not doing that. And finally, Liz is like, this is what I'm going to do. Everyone's going to leave. I'm going to be here since this person is clearly coming after me. I'm going to be here. And, no one's going to, make me leave my house or whatever. I'm like, Liz, that may not exactly be the best option as far as just kind of staying in the house by yourself. Like, I get you want to get rid of the kids and keep them safe. That's cool. Um, but maybe you should have somebody there or something, you know? Um, I'm sitting there thinking about what Laura said as far as, she has faith in the PCP, the PCPD as far as, figuring out who really caught, who, is behind the whole sex tape. And I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing like, you have a lot of faith, right, Laura? Yeah. Good times. I almost forgot. There's a scene with Sonny, Dante, and in the beginning, Sonny's going to ask some questions about the case as far as the sex tape is concerned, and Dante's like, "Yeah, we not talking about that." Brando comes over and talks about his engagement, how happy he is for Sasha, this, that, and the third, and all happy for him. So that's all getting great. Um, Now, I think the only thing that I actually really like about this scene is the relationship between Sonny and Dante because if you go way back, and I mean way back to the point where, Sonny shot Dante because he thought that, you know, he was just some dude that was trying to, bust him or whatever. And from that road, that rocky as hell road that they've gotten at that point was tough as hell. Up until the point where they're boxing and sparring with each other, I think is amazing. Um, just how far they've come in their relationship, and it's the same thing with Christina and Sonny. When Christina first started, I could not stand her. I could not stand her. I knew the reasons why she was upset with Sonny, and it made sense. why she was upset with him, but the things that she would do would get to a point where it was just like, you're joking, right? And of course they had that, the temporary Christina that came in that was just, I mean, she was literally the definition of fast forward. Because I couldn't sit there and continue watching that show if I had to sit through her scenes. But look how far they've come. I think I think it's actually pretty amazing. So it's little moments like that, from being a longtime fan that I can really appreciate. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's about it. Yeah, I feel like that's about it. There was so many damn people in this episode today. I was just kind of looking at this like, I know at some point I'm gonna forget somebody. I'm gonna forget somebody. So I'm like 98% sure, 97% sure that I got everyone. And with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.